Hey, Daryl, it's Bubba. Hey, man, we say we go out and shoot some big old deer this afternoon. All right. Yeah, I'll bring the beer. Make sure you got some ice. I'll pick you up in about 30 minutes, okay? All right, bye. Actually, my name's not Bubba. My name's Wade Skeen. Today I want to talk to you about the misconception that hunters have in the public today. I also want to talk to you about some of the contributions that hunters make to conserving our natural resources in America. First, I'd like to give you a little bit of background about myself. I started hunting when I was about 7 years old. My dad brought my brother and myself up as outdoorsmen. We hunted, fished, tracked, all those types of things. Continued doing things in the outdoors throughout my adult life. I actually pro staff for a few different outdoor companies now. While I'm still active duty military, I'm an area chairman for a waterfowl conservation organization here in South Central Kansas. And I also plan on pursuing a career in the outdoor industry in 3 years after I retire from the military. So some of the things we're going to go over today, I want to talk to you about some of the general facts as far as the numbers and the dollars that go into the outdoors, into saving the environment, conserving our natural resources, specifically the ones that are put there by hunters and outdoorsmen. Another thing I want to go over with you is some of the conservation organizations out there that are separate from what we have with the federal and state organizations. But these are private organizations that are dedicated to conservation of our natural resources. And then third, and probably most importantly, is I want to talk to you about what you can do if you feel the need to get involved in hunting or in conservation organizations to go out and to save these natural resources that we hold so dear. So with that, first I'd like to talk to you about the numbers value of it. If you go to National Shooting Sports Foundation's website, they probably put together some of the best information out there that you can find when it comes to compiling these huge numbers. You can get to their website by nssf.org for National Shooting Sports Foundation.org. If you click on their research tab, that's where it'll give you a lot of their numbers that back up all this stuff. One of the big things I want to hit on is in America right now, $8 million a day is raised that goes into the outdoors for conservation. That equals up to $3 billion a year. Now this is strictly coming from hunters and sportsmen. This is through federal duck stamps, state duck stamps, hunting license, fishing license, all those things that we pay just to enjoy the sport that we love so much. All that money goes right back into conservation. So outside of that, we also pay $5 billion as sportsmen annually in taxes that go back into conservation as well, that are still associated with those federal entities and those state entities. Over the last 80 years, since Teddy Roosevelt was kind of the father of conservation in America, over the last 80 years, since he introduced a lot of these programs that were streamlined through the government, there's been $13.7 billion raised in private projects. These are not associated with the government, but these are actual private projects. I'd like to actually talk to you about that more next. I want to talk to you about some of the private organizations that have dedicated their lives, themselves, their businesses to taking care of outdoor conservation, natural resources. So there's several of these out there. There's actually a lot of them out there. Some of the larger ones I'll go over with you though. Ducks Unlimited is one, National Wild Turkey Federation, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and Pheasants Forever. These are several of the ones that are the larger ones, more popular ones in America. Ducks Unlimited, if you go to their website, it's ducks.org. If you click on How We Conserve, you'll be able to see some of the projects that they've done and some of the history that they have. They've been around since 1937. That's actually the organization that I'm active with as an area chairman here in South Central Kansas. Just in their lifespan, they have conserved 120 million acres. What does this mean? They've taken this and they've set it aside. It can't be tilled for agriculture. The forest can't be cut off of it. It can't be drilled for oil or natural gas or things like that. It has to be kept in its natural state. Well, that natural state, for Ducks Unlimited, usually equates to wetlands, which are decreasing by the minute in America just due to natural progression. The other thing that you have to keep in mind too, when you look at this conservation, you look at this and you say, oh, well, these guys, they're just putting all this money into it because they want to go out and they want to kill stuff. Well, yes and no. The more money we put into it, the more effort we put into it, the more wildlife there is for us to go out and enjoy hunting and things like that. And for me personally, y'all can tell, I like to eat. I like to eat what I kill as well. But it's not just ducks that benefit from wetlands. Wetlands are a natural filter for us for our water tables. They, obviously provide aquatic vegetation for fish and plants and a number of other things. Not to mention the fact that plenty of upland species and other mammals and things like that need those wetlands to thrive as well. So it's not just specific to that one game animal that benefits from saving these resources. A lot of wildlife benefits from it, and us as humans benefit from it as well, because we need those wetlands as part of our ecosystem to conserve our environment as a whole. So, told you about some of these organizations. National Wild Turkey Federation, same type of thing. They specify in habitat for wild turkey, which is probably one of the most amazing conservation efforts that's happened in the last 100 years. If you didn't know, around the 1900 to 1920 time frame, wild turkeys in America were almost extinct. I mean, down to tens of thousands. Because of efforts from the National Wild Turkey Federation, U.S. Game and Fish, and our state and local departments of natural resources, wild turkey populations now are in this like 70 million range, which has just exploded. It's actually getting to the point where in some, suburban areas, they're actually a nuisance species at this point. But considering they're almost extinct right about 100, a little less than 100 years ago, that's been a huge accomplishment for a lot of these conservation organizations. Same thing with Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, with the expansion across the prairie lands. Elk habitat used to run basically from the Mississippi River all the way through the Rocky Mountains. That's been greatly decreased just because of the expansion of agricultural land across America. Their habitat is now mostly just the Rocky Mountains. They are starting to expand back out into the prairie populace a little bit. But they were almost extinct around the turn of the century as well. 1900s. Can't say that anymore with it being after 2000. Pheasants Forever, all these organizations are doing the same thing. They focus on specific game animals to improve their habitat, but the overall benefits of it are crucial. So, hopefully I've talked to you about these things and makes you think about hunters in a little bit different light, and maybe inspire you to get involved with this. What can you do to get involved with it? Well, one of the biggest ways, if you got a family member that hunts, talk to them. That's always your first thing. My dad brought me up hunting and fishing. I've brought some of my younger cousins up and things like that, doing the same thing now. If you don't have a family member, you can always get with a friend that that likes to hunt and fish. We're usually pretty social people as hunters, as outdoorsmen. We enjoy the company as much as we do the actual hunting. Just this morning, I took a coworker that had never been. Another thing you can do is go back to those conservation orgs like I talked about. You can Google Ducks Unlimited, National Wild Turkey Federation, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Pheasants Forever. Get involved with those guys. That's a great way to meet people in the outdoors. So I hope I kind of changed your guys' perspective a little bit about hunters. When you walk into a convenience store and you see a guy dressed in hunting camo, maybe the first thing that you think about is like, maybe he's not just a ignorant redneck that just goes out and shoots things. Maybe he puts a lot of time and effort into conserving our natural resources and bettering our environment for us all. So I hope this helps you to see hunters in a different light, and I hope this inspires you to get involved to conserve our environment. Thank you.